Take a look at this graph of polling averages over the past few months, and as you can see, Trump is winning. But this is insignificant. The US presidential election is not decided by the majority of national votes, but by the Electoral College, which means the only numbers that really matter are those of individual states. So let's take a look at the latest poll in each state and see where the election stands. But before we begin, I'd like to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next content. Stay until the end and stay attentive at all times. Without further ado, let's get started. To start, we'll set aside the states that are solidly in favor of Trump: Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, North and South Dakota, most of Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Alaska, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, Iowa, as well as Nebraska at large and the 2nd District of Maine, all solidly Republican, giving Trump a great start with 189 votes. Biden will easily secure the states of Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, and the District of Columbia, raising his electoral count to 190 votes. Now, with only a handful of states up for grabs, let's delve into the latest polls and see where the election stands. Florida falls just below the 10% threshold to be considered solidly Republican, with the latest poll showing Trump with a 9-point lead over Biden. Reviewing 538, we see that Trump has pulled ahead by 9 points or more in each of the 5 most recent polls. Digging deeper, we see that Kennedy has a weak score of 6 points, which is unsurprising considering how early we are in the campaign season and how polarized this state is in general. Trump's 9-point lead puts Florida in the likely Republican column. Moving north, Georgia is showing a surprising 6-point advantage for Trump. Trump carried this state in 2016, but Biden edged him out in 2020 by just 0.2 points. The state seemed to maintain its blue tilt with Raphael Warnock's victory over his Republican opponent by nearly 3 points in the Senate runoff election. Now it seems to have shifted back towards the Republicans with Trump's current strong lead. According to the data, Kennedy scores 5 points and seems to be drawing more voters from Biden than from Trump. This state will join Florida as likely Republican. Moving to North Carolina, current polls show Trump with a 9-point lead. In the last election, Trump defeated Biden by 1.4%, and the state has continued to demonstrate a closely contested political landscape. The current 9-point lead for Trump suggests a persistence of Republican support. Kennedy is currently polling at 6 points and again appears to be siphoning more votes from Biden, impacting the Democrats' performance. So far, the latest poll puts North Carolina in the likely Republican category. Before we continue, take a moment to subscribe and support independent election analysis. Shifting our focus to Virginia, the latest poll indicates a 3-point lead for Biden. This follows the pattern of Democratic gains in the state, but reveals a drop since Biden won in 2020 with a margin of over 10 points. The presence of Kennedy, who last polled at 14 points in December, doesn't seem to enhance or diminish Biden's lead, suggesting that his base remains relatively solid. Overall, this puts the state into the lean Democratic column. Turning to Pennsylvania, current polls indicate a pretty narrow advantage for Trump at 4 points. This state, a critical battleground, flipped to Trump in 2016, but was narrowly reclaimed by Biden in 2020 by just over 1 point. Pennsylvania's swing status and 19 electoral votes make it a focal point for both parties in this election cycle. Kennedy is currently polling at 8 points and is drawing votes from both candidates, but definitely more from Biden. The latest two-way poll shows Trump and Biden even, but when Kennedy is introduced, Trump's lead grows to 4 points, putting the state into the lean Republican category. At this point, Trump has secured enough votes to take the White House, but keep watching to find out just how many more he can get. In Michigan, the latest polls show Trump ahead by 1 point, which puts the state into the tilt Republican column. This is significant as Michigan was a key state that Trump won in 2016 by a very narrow margin, but flipped to Biden in 2020 by a 2.8% lead. Michigan's role as a pivotal battleground state in presidential elections cannot be overstated, and its current tilt towards Trump in the polls reinforces the wider national shift towards the right. In Wisconsin, current polling shows Trump leading by a margin of 4 points. Wisconsin has been a fiercely contested battleground state in recent elections. Biden won Wisconsin in 2020 by about 0.7%, a razor-thin margin that shows just how close this state was. Trump's lead in the current polls suggests another close race is likely, with both parties seeing substantial support. Kennedy is polling at 9 points, and Trump's lead puts the state into the lean Republican column. Moving west to Minnesota, Trump also holds a 2-point lead according to the latest polls, joining Wisconsin in the tilt column. Minnesota has been more consistently blue compared to Wisconsin, having voted for Democratic presidential candidates since 1976. Trump's current lead marks a significant shift in this state's historical electoral patterns, which reinforces the nationwide shift that we have seen in this cycle. New Hampshire currently shows a strong Biden lead of 9 points, putting the state into the likely blue column. Maine at large and the 2nd District are also in favor of Biden this time, leaning blue with leads of 6 and 7 points. There's no data for Nebraska's 2nd District, but based on historical patterns, we can put it into the lean blue column as well. Unfortunately, there isn't much data out of New Mexico, with the latest poll being from August, showing a 6-point Biden lead. So for now, we'll put it into the likely Democratic column. Moving to Arizona, the latest polls indicate that Trump is leading by 3 points. This represents a significant shift given that Biden narrowly won Arizona in 2020 by approximately 0.3%, marking the first time the state voted Democratic in a presidential election since 1996. Arizona's shift towards Trump is further compounded as Kennedy pulls more votes from Biden. In Nevada, we see a similar pattern with Trump currently ahead by 5 points in the polls. Nevada has been a swing state with close margins in recent elections. The state's diverse electorate, including significant urban populations in Las Vegas and Reno, has historically swung between the two major parties. Trump's current lead suggests a reversal of the 2020 results, influenced perhaps by economic concerns and immigration issues that could be swaying voters. Overall, we see a 322 vote victory for Trump. What do you think of the political landscape? Pretty tense, right? I'd love for you to leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Share with your friends interested in the topic. And remember, we upload videos every day. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you back here again. Goodbye.